Welcome back, Mr. Goodberry. The First Star Logistics studio is fully equipped and ready to record.
Hi everyone, this is Joe Goodberry of Bengals On The Brain. I am in the First Star Logistics studio. Actually, I'm sitting in, you may recognize this jersey over here. I'm in Dave Lapham's chair where he normally records. See if you recognize this setting. It's in the beautiful studios here in First Star Logistics in Cincinnati. They brought me out here for training camp. I saw yesterday's practice, or it would be Sunday's practice. We've got some notes, some storylines we want to go over. I've got some film to break down, things we recorded while we were there. And if you're in the area and you're going to practice or you're going to be at camp, especially by the time you see this, if you're going for the Wednesday joint practice with the Packers, we've got a training camp book. I've teased this online. I've talked about this. We had a video when I did T. Higgins and Trey Hendrickson profiles. All of that is in here where it's going to break down every single player on the roster. There's the Trey Hendrickson page right there. Give you their strengths, weaknesses, all the grading scales, and everything you can need to be ready for training camp. And as the season's about to kick off and preseason is here. So let's go through the storylines, everything we saw at Sunday's practice, as well as some film coming after that. So the first thing I was looking at was the defensive backs, just based on where I was located at practice. And instantly my eyes jumped out to number 22. Chidobe Awuzie is coming back from that right ACL injury. We know he's been cleared. He hasn't worked with the team in 11-on-11s, so he isn't fully up to speed. But, man, he looked really good. It was the first thing that jumped out. You could see the way he was moving. There's actually one play where they're going through individual drills, and he's got to cut off that right leg, and he's got to turn, locate the ball, and make a play on the ball in the air. And he jumps up for it because it's a high ball. They gave him a difficult one. And he comes down on his right leg, all the weight coming down on that right foot. That's the one he injured, and it seemed to not bother him at all. Now, he did drop the ball there, so maybe it did bother him. But physically, he looked normal, and he looked good. And then once the team went into more physical drills, he actually went over with the wide receivers for the first time, apparently, based on other reports from people who've been to camp every day. And you could see him talking through stuff with receivers, giving them a little bit of resistance, a little bit of contact, where his aiming points are. You could see that he's getting closer and closer, which is big for the Bengals to get who has been their best corner the last 2 years since he's come to Cincinnati back on the field and fully healthy. But having said that, the other guy to note of that corner room is Cam Taylor-Britt, who's probably poised to have a year 2 breakout. He's looked really good. And the way the Bengals are using him, I think they fully agree. They're having him shadow Jamar Chase. He looks like don't be surprised if when Awuzie returns, they use Cam Taylor-Britt as their number 1 corner. We know they've drafted Awuzie's replacement. While they're still going to use him as much as they can this year, DJ Turner, who we'll have some clips on and talk about in a little bit here, he's drafted to replace Awuzie in the future. So I could see them transitioning already to Cam Taylor-Britt being their number 1 corner, and he looked good again. I think he had another great day of practice. But the Bengals were working on switch releases and stacked wide receiver looks, putting 3 receivers on the same side of the field, stacking receivers one behind the other. It's an easy way to help against man coverage and to get these guys a little bit of extra room because that second corner's got to back up a little bit. So a lot of times with slot guys, you'll have the first receiver go upfield and he'll hopefully carry or push into that second corner, and then the slot receiver's cutting off of that and getting a free release. So you could see it right away. The defensive backs were drilling it and talking through it. And I think that's the value of Mike Hilton because he was leading that conversation for a lot of these guys. You could see they were pairing him with a lot of the third-team corners, fourth-team corners, the guys deep on the depth chart, the DJ Ivies, the Marvell Tells, because I don't think they're evaluating Mike Hilton in these scenarios because they know he's so good at it already. We've questioned who's going to pick up the communication on defense, right? You lose Jesse Bates-Von Bell. I think part of the communication is going to fall on Mike Hilton, and he seemed to be doing a good job in stepping into that role. But you're putting those third and fourth team corners with him because if they can't follow Mike Hilton's direction, well, then they don't have a chance to make this roster. So I thought it was very interesting. We got some clips of them doing this and who they're paired up against and how they're working through it and communicating with each other is going to be key. We'll take a look at that as the Bengals really working on a part of their game that I think is something that'll take this offense to another level. And then people wanted me to focus on Myles Murphy. We've got some clips on him. He was at right defensive end today. He's had some training camp reps at left defensive end. Be interesting to see how they use him. I still think he has some inside versatility as a defensive tackle. He had an up and down day, but we've got a couple plays here to show, I think, what is going on with Murphy. But he's clearly behind Joseph Ossai as the backup right defensive end in individual drills and position drills. He was running as the third team right defensive end. So he's still got a ways to go there before I think we see a big chunk of Murphy playing. And then I thought the quarterbacks were bad. Trevor Siemian, Jake Browning. I'm not sure Reed Sinnett is an NFL player. I think Siemian looks better than Browning. I think they have caught up to each other. Browning was maybe a little bit ahead of him last week, maybe because of the experience of 1 year in the system. But now that Siemian's caught up with the terminology and with the system, he looks better to me. We'll have to see if that continues over the next couple of days of practice. And then the last thing is Joe Mixon. With Travion Williams being out, I thought we might just see instantly Chase Brown plugged into that role, in which we did. We saw some of that. But we also saw Joe Mixon on 2 blitz pickups do it very well, picking up Mike Hilton off the slot. If he's going to do that, he's going to find his way on the field in these clutch situations, these 2-minute drills, these passing situations more often. And I think that could be key in getting the most value out of their running back that just took a pay cut. So we've got some clips here. Let's go over them. This is from Sunday's practice. A few things that I found interesting. So the first clip we have here are the Bengals working on those switch releases between wide receivers and corners. And the first one is DJ Ivey versus Andre Yoshevas. So we'll play it at full speed first. And what you're going to see here is 2 receivers stacked on each other. So you've got one over the other, hopefully giving you the second guy a free release, which is going to be Yoshi, number 80. Mike Hilton's on him or above the 2 receivers now. He's going to take the first guy off the line who's going to try and run vertical and run Mike Hilton out of the play and hopefully get into the way of DJ Ivey just a little bit here. And you're going to see it's going to work. So we got a speed out by Yoshevas. He's going to try and be as quick as possible, get out of his break. And as the guy's running vertical, he's going to force Ivey to go a little bit around to get to position on Yoshevas. And you see here, as he tries to, really doesn't break down very well, is way off balance, and he eventually falls and can't recover. This is how you end up having a big play. And all it's based on is the route combination, which was very effective here. Next play we have here will be a fun one from camp. Well, I think the kids had fun. The players went into the crowd a little bit here, but it's going to be Drew Sample versus Nick Scott. And Drew Sample is going to be the farthest guy to your left here, running an out route. Nick Scott's going to undercut it, and they're going to both go a little bit too far into the side. Everyone was okay, I think. Watch Sample here. He actually runs a decent route. He's going to lean to the inside, plant and shift his weight to the outside right at the top of his release, a little bit of a rocker step. And it's going to get Nick Scott to overcommit. And then Scott does a great job of getting back inside and making a play on the ball. We've got another angle of this, and I'll highlight them right there. So that's going to be them running up, and you're going to see, again, Sample fake it to the outside. Watch how Scott keeps his right hand on the hip of Sample and then turns back, looks for the ball, locates it. Now he's got to recover, undercut it, and attack the ball at the highest point. He does. It would have been nice if he would have intercepted it, but great play. So the next play we have now is DJ Turner getting another interception, the second round pick out of Michigan, having a very good rookie camp. Let's see how this one happened. So again, we got switch releases here. We got a wheel route down the sideline, and Turner's going to get beat on this. There's separation, 4, 5, 6 yards at least, as I think he's kind of waiting to see where the route's going because they're running a lot of inside routes on this. So there's Turner there. And as he catches up, he's got to hit the jets, his 4.2 speed. He's got to be able to do it when he looks back at the ball, which he does right here. Late look at it, finds it, locates it, high points it. This is an A-plus play by the rookie. Another interception for him in a strong rookie camp. More switch releases. This time we're going to add in linebackers and running backs. We've got Chase Brown and Akeem Davis-Gaither, which Akeem Davis-Gaither on this one, number 59, is going to do a great job in coverage as Chase Brown's going to delay his release, go to the outside, and then he wants to cut back in behind these 2 receivers. The intention is they're going to block out Akeem Davis-Gaither. They're not able to. You watch number 6 there, quarterback, pull it down because Akeem Davis-Gaither undercuts this route. He would have been in position for an interception. Let's see where it goes, what happens as he scrapes over the top, keeps himself clean of the two defenders, gets in position, and then undercuts Chase Brown's route. That would have been a pick six. So the quarterback's got to delay and throw it downfield. So let's switch our eyes over here. We got Cam Taylor-Britt on T. Higgins. Same thing, right hand on him. Turn, look for the ball. It's very similar to the play we just saw. And go and high point it over a guy that's much taller than you, who's made a living high pointing the ball in T. Higgins. Go make a play, number 29. Great job for the corner that's acting as the number one corner for the Bengals defense. Now we move on to team drills, 11 on 11, move the ball, and we're going to see a new wrinkle for this Bengals defense under Lou Anarumo. And it's the three safety look. When they drafted Jordan Battle, we wondered how quickly he would get on the field. This is their third down package for them. And let's highlight and look and see. First, the play run at full speed. This ball's going to get thrown. There's really no one there. Lands in between a bunch of defenders. So what happened? What was the alignment? First, we're going to look at number 23, Dax Hill, coming down, playing man coverage. He's playing the Trey Flowers role. He's going to play Irv Smith in man coverage. The other safety is Jordan Battle at 27. They're both in the box. They removed the linebacker. So Jermaine Pratt's not on the field. Nick Scott is the deep free safety. Scott and Battle are going to end up being the split safeties and rotating into a cover two look. And we got man coverage underneath. Keep an eye on BJ Hill here, though. You wonder where the pressure came from. He holds Max Sharping's inside shoulder and really pulls it away to allow Sam Hubbard to loop back inside on this tackle and stunt. And Hubbard would have probably crushed the quarterback. But I could see a lot of games this may have been a holding call by BJ Hill. From the same drills, 11 on 11, we wanted to focus on Myles Murphy. And we have a clip coming up at the end of Zach Carter. But first, Myles Murphy. Two plays that I think show what he's doing. He's working at right defensive end. He's going to get a nice run stop here on the first one. Going against Deontay Smith, he's going to get under his pads, use his long arm, get his eyes back inside as the run's coming this way, and makes contact. I believe that's Chase Brown. So I do think Myles Murphy's going to be able to help in the run game very early. But as a pass rusher, what is he going to provide? Here we go. Number 99 here is going to get a great jump on this one and should win easily around the arc. And that's a pressure. He does get Simeon to move, but this should be a sack once he's more developed. And you see, that's a great jump off the line, but you shouldn't let that hand get on you so easily and reroute you, push you around the arc. He's got to beat that quicker and bend the corner in order to get there and make a play on the quarterback. A sack's better than a pressure, right? Next play here is Zach Carter, number 95. Can he take a year two leap? Well, we're going to pick on Deontay Smith a little bit more. Watch the power out of Zach Carter, who looks like he transformed his body going into year two. Really gets under him and puts him on skates. Man, if this is the upside we're getting, big year two. So those were all the notes from Sunday's practice, everything I saw, things I thought that were interesting. We've got Monday's practice as well. Let's jump to that and see how that went. Monday's practice is in the books. The Bengals focused on special teams as they get ready for the first preseason game of the year versus the Green Bay Packers. Got to get the special teams in. It is an important phase to the game, especially when you have young guys that are looking to make this roster, not just at the core special teams spots, but the kicking game as well. I thought Brad Robbins stood out. He had a bunch of really long, high punts. I had one clocked at 5 seconds, 5.09 seconds of hang time, which is very good. Anything over 4.5 we're working with. He only had one below that. He kind of shanked one a little bit to the right, came right back and bombed another one. He had a really good day. Two other guys I thought had really good days that I wrote down. Chris Evans, after Trayvon Williams went down, what's his role? How does he make the team again, right? Are we out on Chris Evans? Can he ever help this team? He was playing or practicing like he's fighting for a job, and not just in pass protection where I thought he looked good, but also when the special teams drills were happening and he had to protect and then run down and make a play. You could hear him grunting from, we're 60 yards away, and he's throwing guys down and he's running over them and running through guys. He's fighting for a roster spot. And I think, after something like that, he's got his best foot forward. The other guy is Tanner Hudson, 87 at tight end. Keep an eye on him. I've got one play that we don't have today. I didn't get it clear enough, but he ran a really good route one-on-one with Nick Scott. and caught it on the sideline, kept both feet in. And you could see Scott afterwards was almost dismayed, like, man, how did I let this guy beat me for it? But I thought he moved well. I thought he blocked very well. I'm going to focus on him a little bit more as much as I can, not just in Wednesday's practice, but in the game on Friday. Tanner Hudson, 87. If you see any clips, he's really standing out. But I do have a few clips for us to go over. We'll start that now. Our first clip up is with the focus of special teams. The guy often forgotten in the safety room. Why has he made it so long in this league? It's because of his special teams and his preparation. So as everyone's still trickling out on the practice field, to see Michael Thomas here, number 31, he's calling guys into the huddle. You know, he's walking through it. He's talking through it. He's visualizing what the huddle looks like, his communication with guys, visualizing the snap and the cadence and everything that goes along with it. And this is the preparation it requires. It wasn't just before the practice, too. And even when they were switching on and off with his replacement, when Chase Brown would get out there or anyone else would get out there before him in the drills in the 11-on-11, he was still behind the guy walking through each individual step. And it's no surprise to me how this guy is stuck in the league for so long, his preparation and dedication to his craft. And even if it is special teams, he takes it very seriously. Our next clip here is of Joe Mixon, a guy we showed earlier in practice from Sunday's practice. Pass protection is going to be an area of focus with Travion Williams being out. Got 3 reps here. They were doing one-on-one pass protection with linebackers coming in. And first rep here, really good against Jermaine Pratt. But we are going to get a loss here as Marcus Bailey tosses him to the side. Mixon loses his feet. You can see him clap there at the end. Definitely an area where he realized right away he was off balance and lost. But then he comes back and really regains his footing against Logan Wilson, gets back under him, and gets the quarterback enough time to get the ball off. So we'll take it as of now. He also had a pass protection in 11-on-11s. I saw no issue there. He had to pick up actually Sam Hubbard, it looked like, on the right side. So I think the message may have been sent, or it was heard by Mixon. He looks better. He looks better than he did last year. So maybe we see him a little bit more in the passing game. Still to be determined. The next clip, though, let's stay with pass protection. It's Chase Brown. Again, he's got to step into this role as well. We'll probably see more on the mental side in games, and I bet they will use him a bunch on Friday's game against the Packers. But from a physical standpoint and a strength standpoint, we want to see how is a smaller guy holding up. And I thought he looked good, and he looked strong. You can see he's a pretty rocked up, cut dude. But there is a play here at the end where you'll see he can't stay with guys for too long as this rusher, I'm not sure who it is, actually lifts Chase Brown off the ground and throws him to the side. So we have some size concerns. We got to pay attention to it. Mental side of it, we'll see in the preseason games. I'm sure we'll get a lot of it. But the will and the want and the strength for a guy that's barely 205 pounds, I think is there. Our last clip is the play of the practice. It was the final of 11-on-11 before they moved fully to special teams. And it's Andre Yoshivas versus DJ Turner. These guys have gone rookie to rookie battle all camp. We're going to get another big clip as he runs the vertical route on the outside, gets the free release. He goes up at the high point, and makes the grab and takes the hit down the sideline. And I think Turner's in good position here. His hand is there. I just think Yoshivas yanks it away from him and does a really good job of staying strong and then securing it and shielding his body from the safety coming across the top. It's a big play. And this was after they got a third down conversion. They were working from, I believe, the 2-yard line to start with their backs to the end zone and working out away, trying to actually gain yardage. So each time they're moving the ball, move the ball drill is what it's called. But that big play was down at the end. That finished it. That called the end of 11-on-11s for offense versus defense. So Yoshivas coming through in the clutch on the last play of practice. Productive practice, mostly special teams. Special teams are good. If you're projecting the roster and you're saying, well, is this guy going to make it? Is that guy going to make it? Days like this give you a good indication. But also watch that on Friday and every preseason game going forward. If you see a guy that's on the bottom of the roster and he's not out there with that first special teams unit, that doesn't bode well for his future or his potential to make the team unless, something happens, injury or whatever. But We won't forecast those things. We'll just react to when they happen. This has been Bengals on the Brain. I'm in the First Star Logistics studio. And until next time, I think we got footage of some fun things for Thursday. I mean, I can't even, I'm going to hint right now. You can see the excitement in my face. We had a good time in Paycor Stadium. I think you guys will like this one.
Dave Lapham here, and every day I am grateful for my experience to have played professional football. As a player, I realize self-motivation, leadership, and appreciating your teammates are key. At First Star Logistics, you can use those same attributes to create the life you want for you and your family. Build your future by working hard like I did. You'll see results both on and off the field. Call First Star Logistics today and be part of our winning team.
Opportunity knocking.